Welcome to Monday meditation. Just taking a moment to settle in. So I've been thinking a little bit about nervous system and how nervous system is impacted. I've gotten sick and how much the nervous system is impacted by not just, I guess it's kind of teasing out how our nervous system is impacted. Sometimes we think of trauma, something that happened in the past that may be impacting us, but how does it impact us either through infection, through anything that's perceived as a threat, right? And that could be loud sound, a siren, right? A police siren driving by, or something unexpected, an unexpected kind of doorbell ring that you're not anticipating, right? Something can be quite small, seemingly small, but have an impact. Like a cold can have an impact, an infection, and how it can impact our nervous system, our ability to perceive and respond, our ability to regulate, meaning that we're going through these cycles of stimulation and kind of deceleration or acceleration, deceleration, or more energy, less energy, restorative energy and initiative energy, right? And how that impacts us, how our ability to restore is impact, or ability to initiate is impacted. And I know we've talked about maybe different cycles in the nervous system: fight, flight, fighting against something that feels like a threat, fleeing from something that feels like a threat, freezing, right, overwhelm to something that may be a threat, fawning or people pleasing, right, not fighting or fleeing or freezing, but moving towards or appeasing this perceived threat. And so the one I wanted to talk about today was fight, and how our natural response to fight something, fight, again, a perceived threat, whether it's somebody yelling at us or somebody maybe even kind of turning into us when we're driving, right? This sense of a threat and wanting to get angry and yell and fight. And maybe even just breaking it down a little bit. Fight, meaning the nuance of that, wanting to be right, wanting to make the other person wrong, getting angry, needing protection, needing to push something away or push against. And so it can be something quite obvious, an obvious threat, or it could be something that's not obvious. Sarcasm, or, subtle diminishment that may be so subtle, it's not always perceived until there's an anger. Maybe swinging too far into other responses until there's a buildup. Excuse me, until there's a buildup of resentment, of not saying what our needs are, of not taking care of ourselves. And I know that we're in a time where there's a lot of fight, there's a lot of divisiveness, and there's this seeming kind of two sides, or there's this where we are there seems to be a lot of two very convincing sides or two very polarized sides. And how that, again, from a very stimulated place, right? Our sympathetic nervous system being activated, and how that impacts our perception of the other side or our side, or maybe even our parasympathetic response, a freeze response, how we respond to the other side or even to our side. And that the regulation, meaning that we can, when we hit our peaks, kind of know what we need to de-escalate, and how we move through that all day, right? That we don't peak into not being able to calm down, not being able to sleep, not being able to perceive or step back or see that there may be more information, or the shutting down and not being able to, right, correct the energy or find balance in order to move into conversation again, right? That there seems to be a dysregulation in our kind of world conversation, our political conversation. And that then is also reflected in our own home, our own family, our own relationships, even within ourselves, like how we perceive information coming at us, or push away information, or don't want to talk about things, or don't want to look at things. Right? That part of our numbing becomes our inability to correct or right ourselves in relationship to challenge. And we don't have a lot of tools in this culture. And to actually hold space for that as well. Right? That part of the space holding is to hold all of us, so that we can find the nuance, so that we can find something other than just one response or two responses or a numbing. And so let's start with resourcing, right? Bringing in that which we need, the nourishment that we need to feel our own wholeness, our own beauty, our own expansiveness, even the perfection of who we are. The perfection of even the agitation that allows us to find more of ourselves, and being able to really fill into our own space. And maybe we need the resource of the sunlight, or the gentle breeze, or the green of the trees. Maybe even it's a sense of support from the earth, from gravity. Maybe that support of the sun, seeing the sun, or that sense of season. And even though the seasons might be a little confused right now and the weather might be a little different, there is still a sense of sun in the morning, sunrise, sunset. There is a sense of changing of season even if different. Right? The things that feel calming to the system, the things that feel soothing, right? Watching the stars, the moon get full, the moon get less full. Maybe even noticing the changes in nature that you perceive, that you're noticing. What is unexpected that's pleasant? What is expected that is pleasant? Even that sense of the inhale and the exhale. And the inhale and the exhale. The fluctuations in our energy and our focus, and our need for internal connection and external connection. Maybe even a sense of divinity or aspects, facets of divinity, angels, different qualities of divine. Again, whichever words you may use, whether it be God, Shiva, Kuan Yin, Goddess, Mother Earth, the emptiness that holds everything, the great mystery. And notice how it reflects in your body, in your system. And then maybe notice the spaces. So when we bring in nourishment, sometimes in that filling or that revealing of the perfection, there are the moments when we are aware of the agitation, maybe even more. And maybe just turning towards it. Maybe it is a fight, a defensiveness, a looping of thoughts, a frustration, an inconsistency. And maybe just gently turning towards it, open-handed, meaning without judgment, without needing it to change, just a curiosity. Is there anything you need? Is there anything you want to say? And notice what happens. Notice when you meet yourself with compassion or kindness or tenderness. What happens? And what needs to be said? What needs to be maybe acknowledged? Maybe from the part of you that feels anchored, grounded, spacious, able to hold that other part of you that may be frustrated, agitated, mad, wanting to fight, wanting to be angry, wanting to be heard, wanting to be validated, pissed off, wanting to judge and blame. Again, hold no judgment towards that part of you. Let it express. And notice if any change, what that change is. More tenderness, sadness. Maybe it moves out of fight into something else. And there's no right answer, just noticing what happens. And again, maybe even bringing in a little support, whether it's a beauty, a flower, a bird. And notice if anything softens or shifts. Maybe even there's an understanding. Maybe there's um, a release. Maybe there's something else that needs to be said. And just keep meeting that place with kindness, with softness, noticing when you need more sustenance in order to be present. Right, even noticing for yourself when you get overwhelmed at your own vulnerability. Just staying present and also knowing when it's time to finish, when it's time to put it down for the day. Or maybe there's an awareness of that this feels like a lot. And let's just come back to the space of feeling our own perfection. And if there's anything else that needs to be acknowledged or held, right, just gently knowing that it will be, not necessarily putting it aside, maybe just holding it, but bringing attention to the whole of you. Be feeling just a little sweep through your system, angelic light, golden light. Right, the sense of bringing the source of life, this golden, radiant, magnificent light through your system that can tend and mend, hold space with you. Right, allowing you to be held, cared for, loved. Feeling the fullness of your experience, not just as a human, but as a spirit, as a soul, as a divine being. Seeing any imperfections as moving towards wholeness. And that is also part of our journey. The wholeness, the separation, the return to wholeness. Good. And maybe one more moment, maybe just an intention of holding space for these aspects of you, right? I talked about the fight response within, but letting yourself be held, letting yourself feel the wholeness, maybe writing anything that came up, maybe noticing what comes through your system or how it shows up. If you need further support and don't know what that means, you can always reach out. But last few moments of feeling the nourishment, feeling the beauty, feeling the grace, the integration, releasing what isn't yours to carry, allowing that to be also cleaned and cleared. Returned back to where it can be digested. Maybe return to where it belongs if it can be digested. And the places of you that have felt displaced, distracted, without understanding, separate, just letting those places slip back towards you. Again, being cleaned and cleared, integrating in a pacing, timing that feels right for your system, right? As if calling yourself home. And letting those processes continue, that releasing of what isn't yours to carry, and inviting what is yours to return, to return. All held in the beauty and when it feels complete, again, feeling the support around you, your guardians, your guides, your angels, any elements, animal spirits that support you in this journey, in this walk. You are loved, you are whole. And when you're ready, just gently, gently, aware of your breath, orienting to the room around you, the light, the objects in the room that have meaning for you, just anchoring into this moment, even hands on body. Namaste.